Hi friends, I'm starting something a bit new today that I'm going to be calling Table Tuesdays. As you guys probably know, I have quite a few Nintendo arcade tables. So I am going to be showing off some of these tables hopefully every Tuesday for the next handful of weeks. Well, more like 8 or 9 weeks, depending on whether or not I remember. So, the goal is to show these in a little bit more detail than what you would normally see. So the first one is going to be my first Nintendo table, which was Heli-Fire. So this was made in 1980. I want to say towards the or the sometime in the middle. I already have it unlocked. This is actually the panel. You can't really see it too well. Sorry about that. It's a nice purple panel. So we're going to lift this up to give you a glimpse of the inside. So, yeah. I did replace the control panel. I'm going to turn the flash on, I think. I cannot turn... Oh, there we go. So I did replace the control, or the power supply, or rather, I added a power supply. It was missing its original power supply. And even so, I'm not too comfortable with adding an original Heli-Fire supply because they're not known to be very reliable. In fact, I have had issues with them because Space Fever used the same one. And I've had issues with them with the bridge rectifier shorting out and just parts going south. And the problem is that there's no protections and it can actually take out the board on those specific power supplies. In fact, I had to fix head-on-N a couple times because the power supply failed. Anyway, so Heli-Fire was unique in the sense that it used Nintendo Sheriff hardware, which was in turn just modified Space Fever hardware. The difference here is that there is this third board stack which handles the sound, graphics, and color. Heli-Fire is unique in that it has this really nice gradient with the water effect and the sky. And you don't really see that. You can actually adjust how high the sea level goes up and how intense the effect is. And it's all done analog. You can see the two adjustment knobs right there for it. So that's the instructions that's on the bottom. Standard for Nintendo machines of this time. And we're going to go ahead and put this down and play a game. So I did not have to do much for this because it was already in good shape. The only thing I added is I added this for amusement only. I have a bunch of these, and all of my tables have them for the most part. So yeah, I just think they're neat. So I'm going to attempt to set up the camera in hopes that you can see it okay. Then I'm going to turn the lights down just a bit. And we're going to play a game. This is on free play. I think this was actually the first free play mod that I programmed. This has a very nice analog sound and it has both nice analog and digitally generated sound effects on this board. Actually, does it have digitally generated sounds? I can't remember if it has an 8035 on this, like other Nintendo games of the time. But it's a pretty straightforward shooter game. You have stuff that comes at you from the side. It is running 8080 hardware, or Nintendo 8080 hardware, so it is rather simplistic. There's there's actually 4 stages per round. It goes from green to blue to purple to yellow. And after 2 or 3 goes, it actually will show a little cutscene with a little tune. So we're gonna see if we can do that. And the last helicopter's a little bit hard because of the angles. And as you can see, they shot this annoying mine. It's really hard to dodge. Let's see if I can do it. The sound is not perfect on my Heli-Fire. You might be able to hear that the explosion sound is playing in the background. It's just not something I've troubleshooted yet. Heli-Fire's board the soundboard is kind of complex, and I'm not very interested in troubleshooting unless I absolutely have to. But one thing that I've noticed is that the radar sound comes in and out depending on whether or not you shoot. So what I'm thinking is it's actually one of the 4066 analog switches. Let's see if I can blow that up so that way I don't have to dodge it. Nope. See, it's a really tight squeeze getting through that. So, but yeah. So let's see if I can do this. It does get pretty difficult later on. And it's actually kind of funny. You can see the colors of the helicopters changing as the missiles, because they didn't have palette swapping quite down yet with this hardware. They wouldn't really get it just right until they got it right with Space Firebird, which I don't remember if that came out first. But they definitely didn't get palettes quite right on Nintendo 8080 hardware. Jeez, I'm in quite the spot again. You're gonna have to excuse, I'm not that great at games. I want to blow up this one last helicopter so that way I can show you guys the little cutscene. Oh, come on! There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, it's after 3, I guess. Well, let's hope I can do this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you guys. It's been a hot minute since I played this one. Unfortunately, I don't play my games every day. Oh, that's another neat tidbit about this machine. This actually uses an 8-way joystick. It is probably the most over-engineered joystick that I've seen. It's rather complex for what it is. But as a result, though, it actually does feel pretty nice. Despite being a micro-switch joystick. Oh, no! I guess I'm not going to be able to show you guys the cutscene. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's gameplay footage of it online that will show you a little bit better than what I can. You're not really missing much with that, seeing that specific cutscene on a real machine. But anyway, going back to the joystick, it actually feels pretty nice, and despite being a micro-switch joystick, it doesn't really feel like one. It feels more like a leaf switch joystick. So and the fact that it's smooth all the way around. So it's very consistent, and I really don't know how to describe it. So, but yeah, anyways, this has been Heli-Fire, and the first installment of Table Tuesdays. I hope you guys found this interesting, and I hope you learned a little bit about Heli-Fire. This is a game that I love quite a bit. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one.